Hello everyone. So let us look on the steps pharma marketer needs to take to create a database of target doctor email addresses, which is larger and deeper than any you have right now. It comes with first-party GDPR grade consents, so you can engage with those doctors directly yourself. Next, we will review successful examples of how to invite doctors to webinars without having to cold call and how to close your marketing loop through doctor engagement. My name is Sergey and I lead Maxons, which is a global service provider for pharma companies in the digital marketing space. We have all heard that content is king, and I'm sure you have great content. Now you want to target doctors in the target geography, see it, and engage with it. To engage your customers directly, you need personal information, like an email account, which he really checks, and the doctor's consent to process his personal information and receive marketing communications through digital channels. Then, when you invite your potential customers to webinars, you want to track the engagement of each of your customers individually. This helps your rep personally react to the healthcare practitioner or HCP, taking a step forward on the customer journey. We digitize what pharma companies used to do in the past to market and sell their products. Many pharma companies use webinars and remote detailing. To reach doctors remotely, we actually need three things. Firstly, in order to reach your contact, you need valid and direct personal contact information. Secondly, you need to talk to your contact directly, so you have full transparency. Thirdly, your content, which drives a meaningful engagement with your customer. As GDPR and similar regulations are now in place, we also need a valid consent for PI processing and for marketing communication. This is the ticket which will let you engage with doctors, invite them to webinars and more. Well, if your reps have been working the target list for many years, you are all set to go remote. But if you enter a new therapeutic field or miss lots of failed consents or contacts, you would want to grow your contactable database. Content now can be put on third-party medical networks, of course. But this means you rely on third-party consents and do not get names of webinar recording viewers or duration of the engagement for segmentation purposes. Simply put, cold calls are not the best way to start business relationship or collect consents and personal information. In the digital space, it simply doesn't happen this way anymore. So, in the first part, we are going to consider pull marketing. We are going to walk through the journey that starts with gathering emails and obtaining consent, and shows how we continue the journey later on with qualified touchpoints in the second part. The third part will cover how to engage new doctors and to create email address database which is larger than you have right now. You get consents, so you can engage with doctors, invite them to webinars and other valuable activities. So you have content, now you have target universe, and you want those to meet. Since it is a big effort, you need to keep track of how you are doing and do it Excel style. This will be covered in the fourth part. Multi-channel measurement unit is a measure like a mile or a kilometer. You can use your own metric system based on your current communication mix. It is transparent, it is replicable and easily localized. So let's start with the review of real digital funnel that delivers contacts, consents and qualified engagements. One second. So, we need an effective, flexible and easy to use instrument to engage new doctors online. It needs to be doctor friendly it needs to leave no target universe unknowed and be GDPR compliant, of course. So, about 10 years ago, I was in a commercial job and I had to promote a prescription drug for a disease that is diagnosed and treated by a group of several different specialists. It was a new therapeutic field for the company, so I had no established target list for apps or contactable database. And the product was already in the channel. It was out of pocket and it was quite expensive. So I've paid thousands of customers to be screened for potential, and I only have 8 reps. Furthermore, with this new drug, it was crucial to be on the same page with the doctor about several things that makes our value proposition clear to them. Also, in order to start the business discussion, it was critical to bring the customer to the same page where our benefits were seen. Experience showed it took about 6 visits and 6 months to go through the science behind the disease, about the consequences, diagnostics, treatment options, and their mechanism of action. Only after that it starts to make sense to talk about trial and how to prescribe and how to administer, about target patients, etc. So, starting their communication is quite challenging if it's done via push. Why is it so ineffective? We annoy people trying to establish relationships, as we do it at their work time, when the only thing they actually want is to get less reps at their doors because they have patients to serve, a nice new doctor to chat, and so on. So, how do I digitally engage target doctors more effectively when they are not in distressed mode and don't have their defenses up? Well, first is when and where. The answer is when they are online, after lunch, on a break, at home, scrolling social media friends' posts. The trick here is to start by offering content and delivering value to him upfront. For him, it's fun, engaging stuff. For us, screening and start with his customer journey. So basically, there are 4 steps here. First, we need to announce engaging promotional content which is professionally interesting for them. While he's having fun, we screen him for potential and get all needed consents. If he fits the target, he is engaged remotely on a one-on-one basis by Zoom or by Skype. And if he checks all marks, you give him to sales team for addressing objections and follow-up. Here is the video how it works really. Video. So, doctors do have time to engage with this HCP magnet. Average doctor, like most of us, spends a couple of hours per week or per day stuck to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. A doctor is really interested in this exact therapeutic field and relates to it by spending like 10 minutes of his life going through nuts and bolts of an interesting patient case. And these are the doctors we want. So, at the beginning, we knew we showed ads to doctors in London area. At the end, we have the potential target's name, specialty, enroll, place of work, patient potential, and probable place on the adoption letter. It keeps reps focused on detailing, and the target doctor becomes contactable. So, in 5 years, our intelligent digital engagement system built audiences for webinars and remote engagement. Based on the experience of serving a couple of dozens of thousands GPs, cardios, endos, etc. with pharma content, I can say the audience is built in several steps. The first step is growing the contactable database of your target universe. After having direct consents and contacts in place, the doctor can be routed to the next step on his customer journey, like your webinar or remote detailing session. The best part here is when you approach the doctor, he is happy to see you. It's not a cold call. You are contacting him as he requested after he enjoyed the patient case, maybe a webinar recording. On top of warming up new customer, it shortens screening from months to weeks, and it reaches everywhere. It's easy to manage to volume of target doctors inflow to address changes in the sales force volatility. It delivers first-hand consents in your custom legal wording and provides for GDPR compliance. So basically, good launch is getting a bigger target list contactable database with consents and making sure your target list do engage with your sales content. And you would want to see individually by doctor how is he doing in Excel. In the next part, we'll see how it actually works. One second. So, now you have your narrative as a webinar recording and you want it to be seen by your target universe. So the first step here is to make sure your target doctors start watching the webinar recording. And if you see them continue watching it to the end, you are doing a great job. Many digital campaign reports limited information. They are cardiologists from those cities. That makes it challenging to understand how many actual touchpoints have been delivered to the target list and if any of the target doctors watched it to the end. So imagine I'm a rep and I plan calls for the next week. I check my data and I see that in the last 3 days, Dr. Jones, Dr. Bob and Dr. Mike had 3 qualified engagements with the K webinar recording. I better visit them while they are warm. To have the opportunity to react swiftly to customer engagements, we need to know who watched your webinar recording and when they actually stopped watching. Of course, this needs to be done appropriately and compliantly. Personalized engagement data provides support to Salesforce effectiveness function. So, let's see how this is done in an actual case that is still on air. The doctor scrolls through his Instagram and sees a post marked as medical test for London's doctors. He clicks on this ad in the Instagram and leaves to our project website. First, he is walked through the GDPR and local compliance legal wording. Then he provides his credentials and or registers. And if he's presented with the non-promotional content which we advertised in the first place. Doctor qualifies by criteria or by belonging to our target list. You have his consent. Now you may present him with the promotional content. Let's see how this works on the compliance side. So, the ad driving non-promotional content is targeted at doctors from your target list or to new doctors you may want to start to talk to. When the doctor has identified himself, their credentials and personal information is verified and you match them to your target list. Before you have verified that is Mr. Jones, who is on your target list, you shouldn't share any promotional or brand medical content. Everyone who sees the promotional content should be doctors from your target list who have consented to your customized legal agreement. The best part is that you do not rely on any third-party consents, cookies or non-transparent, non-auditable reports. From start to finish, the process of consenting, PI collection and content delivery all happens in one place, on one server, on one website. And since you get consents firsthand directly from your target doctor, you can plug in your standard corporate GDPR approved language. Usually you would like to include items like consent for terms of use, cookies, and privacy policies. Consent for personal information processing, consent for digital channels, marketing communication, and information on GDPR execution. So, for Salesforce effectiveness, it's very valuable to have personalized customer engagement data to close the marketing loop and to account for the qualified contacts. The information that you have on the report shows doctor's name, contacts, specialty, personalized engagement data. So, when you need to build a database of target doctors that is bigger than you have right now, and you want to engage them digitally or personally later on, you may want to have the first-party GDPR consents. It's always handy when the contacts you receive are valid and the guy really picks up the phone and checks his emails. Then you can drive them to your content and equip your Salesforce to get them selling post-COVID style. So, так. Okay, so we have talked on how to grow your target doctor contactable base and how it works on the compliance and legal side. Now we are going to build a digital funnel that drives your target doctors to your webinar recording. First, we need to define the target. This can be done by the list of names or by specialty, for example. Let's say we need endos to prescribe HCPs, NGPs to diagnose and route to an endo. Second, we define what our target markets are. Let's say, for example, we'll go for UK and Germany. It could be more precise, but to make it simple, we'll go for UK and European Union GDPR realms. Third, we need to have our corporate legal wording to hand. These are the wording of consents, wording of policies, and disclaimers your legal and compliance have already pre-approved. It's convenient to have first-hand direct consents from your customer for personal information processing and marketing communication, as well as personal contacts, information to stay connected further on. For example, to engage endos and GPs seeing diabetes patients, you would need to have a medical or marketing content that is non-promotional and interesting to your doctors. I'm sure you already have a lot of leave behinds or detail aids that are available and approved. You'd also obviously need a webinar recording available so you can start driving target list doctors to it. It could be recording of the live event or a set of videos. It just needs to be available, approved, and do the job you want it to do. So, the digital booster funnel, as we call it, drives target HCPs from a predefined locations to the webinar recording you want to be seen. To enable this HCP customer journey, we collect consents using the legal wording you choose and provide. And to filter HCPs and have them ready for detailing on diabetes, for example, you need medical content on diabetes and perhaps questions for HCP potential scoring. When these are done, you get a solution that streamlines your target doctors to your content. And before it is displayed, before it is deployed, you get screenshots of all touchpoints of the sequence a customer might see for your approval. So when you actually have it, after enough meetings and alignments have been completed, the sequence gets approval numbers or similar blessings from the organization. Now you have the report on your webinar recording engagements with names and locations, and it will help you identify the reps responsible for the specific doctor. This makes the engagement valuable for the sales organization and provides for accounting for the and Now you have the report on your webinar recording engagements with names and locations that will help you identify the rep responsible for this specific doctor, and that makes this engagement valuable for the sales organization and provides for accounting for the contact on Salesforce effectiveness books. And it's obviously transparent and can be audited or built upon. Next. So now we have the contacts of doctors and we know which ones watch the webinar recording. So what next? First, we need to integrate this into the chess. So now we have the contacts of doctors and we know which ones watch the webinar recording to the end. What next? First, we need to integrate this into our Salesforce effort and establish an Excel field Salesforce effectiveness plan and digital engagement plan, all helping us to track performance. Then we need to be able to plan and compare apples to apples. Actually, digital accounting allows you to do the books on your sales and marketing efforts with full data. With apples to apples multi-channel measurement unit method, we can compare different sets of field, hybrid, or dedicated remote engagement campaigns. Knowing where you are and being able to track performance means you can plan and execute meaningful engagements with your target doctors. Let's see on the some of the data. So that's the case. The initial contactable base was 900, meaning that we had 900 sets of valid personal contacts of doctors that granted us direct consents with in valid format. After digital webinar booster implementation, our customer now has over 11,000 valid contacts with their custom corporate language consents. The webinars actually deliver most value at the moment when they're actually seen by the target universe. So digital webinar booster paves the way for the webinar recording to be seen by your target doctors. The resulting detailed data on engagements provides for full transparency. With lockdowns in many parts of the world, many teams were handed with Viva Engage and instruction to do remote detailing. In the major affiliate of our customer, 1,000 reps made 1,000 successful remote engagements in 1 year. In another affiliate of our customer that used our remote engagement booster, they had over 2,000 qualified remote engagements with just 4 reps the same year. So as I've said, we digitize what pharma companies used to do in the past to market and sell their products. I would be really glad to go in depth on how to invite doctors to webinars without having to cold call and how to close your marketing loop through doctor engagement. If you're interested in digital webinar booster or consent booster, please contact me by email or on LinkedIn. that are now on the screen. Yes, multi-channel measurement unit and what to do next, having a contactable base, is actually discussed in a separate presentation. And I would really be glad to share it with you on one-on-one basis on Skype or MS Teams. Please contact me. This is a very interesting topic for me, and I would really appreciate your candid feedback. Please find me on LinkedIn or use my work email. Also, you can find our contacts on maxcellence.com, which is at the bottom of the screen, and get some additional information about the engagement of HCPs. I'll be waiting for your emails or messages in LinkedIn. Thank you for your attention. Bye. Так. Оп. Оп.